This here is Bennett. Hard to tell now because the red is covering it up, but that's his buddy Regis over there. And this is a trivet. If you watch Star Trek, you know what that is. All right, so this is their roadmap to success. Bennett here has some separation anxiety, and I think a lot of it is based on the dogs didn't really have any rules at all. And as a result of not having any rules, they were the impression that they were peers with their humans. So listening to humans is optional. But then they got to tell the humans what to do by nudging them or jumping up on them when they wanted attention. Or if the other dog's getting attention, then I'm going to come up and get some of that as well. So those things taught the dogs that we don't have the same authority as the humans, we have more authority than the humans. So just like us, if we're responsible for other people, we feel pressure and because of that responsibility. And that can lead us to stress, especially if the other person's not listening to us. Dogs are not really equipped to be leaders of humans. So if we have dogs with separation anxiety, a lot of times they follow us everywhere. We don't ever go to the bathroom by ourselves anymore. The dog's following us get up and just go walk 2 feet away, the dog's with us. It's an insecurity because the dog kind of goes in a panic attack when left alone. So the way that I like to deal with this is by changing the leader-follower dynamic through rules and structure, right? Yes. So basically, the rules that we suggested were, to begin with, not being allowed to do what he's doing right now, not being allowed on the furniture, or there's a lot of furniture in this place. You can't see in the shot right now, but there's a lot. Yes, I know, buddy. But no furniture for at least 30 days, or as long as these problems are still going on. Once furniture is allowed, then it will be with permission and only with an invitation and for good behavior. So if one of the dogs is sitting up here on the couch and starts growling at the other dog or barking at somebody outside, you'd have to immediately get down. We're going to make sure the dogs sit at the door and the humans go through the door first. We're not going to allow the dogs to be within 7 feet of any humans eating food, or the other dog who's eating food, or near us when we're preparing food. I'd also like to see the guardians start to practice my petting with a purpose philosophy. So instead of petting the dog for no reason, we're going to ask the dog to sit whenever it nudges or jumps up on us for attention. We're going to tell it to sit. Once it sits, we're going to pet it under the chin and say the word sit, especially for this guy because he's a little insecure. Petting a dog under the chin can facilitate a nose-up orientation, which is what a body mechanic proud dogs have. Let me see. We'd also like to have the guardians using passive training. So every time the dog comes to us, we're going to pet him and say here, or excuse me, come for these dogs. Every time the dog sits on its own, we're going to pet it and say sit. And we're not going to pet the dog for no reason. So if we want to pet the dog just because we want to, we're going to ask the dog to sit first. When it sits, then we're going to pet it and say the word sit. Just sit, not good sit and not good dog, just the word. Let me see, I'd like the guardians to use the escalating consequences I went over. The first one we're going to use is we're going to hiss. 1 time per incident, match the intensity of your hiss with the dog's energy. Second thing we do is to stand up abruptly, turn to face the dog. Remember, your authority is directional. It goes whatever direction your belly button is pointing. Keep pivoting until the dog is stationary. As soon as it's stationary, take a step back, left, right, 2 feet only. And make sure you do that right away. That's a conversation. If he's stationary and we don't step back right away, then he doesn't know what we're saying. The third consequence is I march directly at the dog until the dog turns sideways to me. When a dog turns sideways, it's saying I'm stopped challenging you. The only time we wouldn't stop marching at the dog is if it turned sideways, but it was in a designated no dog zone. Then I would keep walking towards the dog until it got past the line. At that point, I would stop, and then the dog waits there until, well, then basically I go to the second consequence, take a step backwards as soon as it's stationary, and then I can go back to what I was doing. Make sure when you stand up, you do it really suddenly and deliberately, and you snap to face the dog. And when you march at the dog, have some steam in your steps. One of the guardians is a very laid-back energy, which is great, but for dogs, they're going to respond a little bit better, a little bit crispness, a little bit more determination, especially when saying sit, sit. Make it a little bit more assertive. Let's see, we would like the guardians to start delaying gratification, so making the dog sit wait before they have permission to go out, the door, or sit before they can get permission to eat their food. If we're playing ball, make the dog sit in between each time we throw it. So the more times that we ask the dog to sit and wait, we can help it develop more self-control, and that's going to help with the separation anxiety. Now, because he's a little bit more lower self-esteem, he doesn't know a lot of tricks or commands. Just like humans, the more tricks and accomplishments we have, the more confident, better our self-esteem is. So one of the things we could do is try to teach him some new tricks and commands. Since we have 2 dogs, I would teach them both the same thing each week, and maybe make it a weekly deal. Each Sunday, one of the guardians picks a trick or a command off of YouTube, teaches each dog how to do it separately, then teaches their spouse how to do it, and then all week long we practice that trick or command. Then at the end of the week, the other spouse takes over, and they take a new command. So if each one of you does like 4 or 6 of these, the end of 2-3 months, the dogs know like a good 6 to 12 new commands that boost their self-esteem. One of the tricks that we need to do, or commands we need to do, is teach them to stay. Now, I will, if I forget to link this on the right up above this video, just go to YouTube and search how to teach any dog the perfect stay. That's the expression, the title of this video. It'll have some color bars, and the guy comes in, he's got a fisheye camera, he's kind of got some eyes that probably wouldn't be better without the fisheye camera, but he's a great instructor. You want to teach first for duration, then for distance, then for distractions. And then we want to not only practice and master these, this is something you want to do every single day. Now what I found is it's best to do it in short little sprints. Grab like 10 treats, sit down and practice the stay, for a minute or 2, and then go about your day. Then practice a little bit later on. You want to avoid doing boom, 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 a whole bunch in a row. You want to do one, and then a little bit later on, a little bit later on. And don't just do it from sitting here. Do it from sitting there, sitting there, and sitting there. Do it in different locations. The more locations you can practice something in, the easier it is for the dog to kind of extrapolate. I need to stay. That means I stay regardless of my location or my environment. When we're going for walks, we're going to use the structured walk that I went over. We're going to use the martingale collars and a special twist of the leash. We're going to the 4 rules for a structured walk: keep the dog next to us. So each dog is going to have a right side and a left side, and it's going to stay there. If it moves past my stride, past the end of my toe while I'm moving forward, it's moving too far in front. Remember, whoever's in front is in a leadership position. So we do a quick leash correction, very quick jerk, and then relax the leash. We only want to have tension on the leash for a fraction of a second. If the dog lags behind us, we let our arm go dead, just keep on walking. The leash will do the work for us. If the dog starts to move in front of us, we're going to give a quick pop and then immediately relax it. The other rules are keep this arm going straight down, or whichever arm is holding the leash. Don't pull the dog in position. Pop the leash and then relax it. Pop it more as often as you need to, but don't ever pull backwards, because that will just create a pulling forward effect. So rule number 1, keep the dog in position. Rule number 2, keep your arm nice and relaxed, going straight down. Rule number 3, no stopping and sniffing. Dog can sniff as long as it's walking, but we're not going to stop every time it wants to stop, otherwise it's driving. And part of the reason I think that he is barking at people that are passing by the front of the home here is because he's got a great vantage point. We're up elevated, and he can see people coming by, and he marks on stuff across the street. So in his mind, in front of the place, the street, and the yard across the street are all his territory. And when dogs come in there, he yells at them to get off of his lawn like an angry old man. So by not allowing him to mark on walks, I would take him to a designated place in the courtyard here or anywhere you want, but you tell him you can pee here, but then we're going to walk next to a bunch of things, fire hydrants and signs that he can pee on. We're just not going to stop, and when we ever get to that point, we're going to turn our gaze here so we can watch the dog. If the dog starts to lift its leg, we're going to keep on going, or we're going to pop it the leash real quickly. Better thing to do would be to teach the dogs to walk on a loose leash, but we had a lot to cover, so we weren't able to go over that. If the guardians would like to do that, we can set up a dog training session afterwards, and I can teach the dogs how to actually stay in the heel position with a loose leash without needing any corrections or using the martingale collars, but that would be for another visit. I'd like the guardians to start eating before they feed their dogs, and to feed the dogs one at a time. Let me see, when we're going down the stairs on a walk, we're going to stop suddenly going down the stairs, so dogs need to learn to match our pace as opposed to racing ahead of us. And then we're going to go through the process of leashing them, as we saw in the other 2 videos, so that the dogs are so relaxed when we go for a walk. They have a nice calm energy, the same energy we have here. That's going to produce much more enjoyable walks. Okay, I'm sure I'm leaving a bunch of stuff out, but the guardians know that they can always reach out to me. I don't charge my clients to give me a call or a text if they forgot something afterwards, and I actually encourage that. Let me see, I think that these are 2 good dogs, and just by adding rules, structure, and boundaries and limits, they're going to be able to start feeling less responsibility, less pressure for the humans. And especially if you teach him to stay, that will go a long ways towards helping him relax as we leave. If the separation anxiety continues, then the guardians might need to give me a call. We might need to do a couple other things to work with him and help him feel a little bit more comfortable with it. But for a lot of my clients, just simply adding rules and structure, that structure helps the dogs feel more confident. All right, well, that's the roadmap to success for Bennett and Regis. Remember, everything you do trains your dog. Only sometimes you mean it.